is all that's really needed in order to transform behavior, right? Another egoist would only then assume the suggestion from another egoist if that suggestion served to benefit himself. If you see, this won't make sense to a lot of you, but those of you I know that are watching, I know that this will make sense to you, right? If you see a transformation in the behavior of those that you had presented a suggestion to, you recognize that this relationship exists. And you recognize then that if it can be done at that level, imagine the structure, the power that can be done on a much more orchestrated level, right? Imagine what can be done. But you have to have a particular desire. Only the desire for power is going to get you to that level. If you do not desire that, you can't participate in this game. This game is only for individuals who are motivated by the acquisition of power, period. And we'll see exactly how deep that gets, right? Eventually, when we get to the last bit, we'll see that this becomes biological, this becomes naturalistic. It's almost Darwinian, or antithetical to Darwinian. Maybe not antithetical, but a variation. He introduces, I think it's a little bit weak, the biological bit. I like his conceptual stuff better, personally. But Nietzsche is eventually going to make this biological. This argument is eventually going to become biological. Sort of the reassessment of all of that which was anti-biological, right? Before, oh no, we don't want biology. Oh, existence is crap. And then Nietzsche sees, oh, that's the key, right? This system of control, this system of suggestion and transference is a way in which there's a check and balance if both parties are egoists, right? Suggestion is made, behavior to the suggestion. No one would be able to identify this because no one would have been privy to the suggestion aside for the parties. But there's a check and balance, right? It's a very this level is so spaced out. We are in the ether, folks, or in the abyss. It doesn't matter which way you want to take it, right? I like the abyss actually, but I'm going to stop at that point because the lecture's being derailed by my mania. Number 5. The essential demand here is that mankind should do nothing evil. Obviously, I've said that quite a bit. That is, that it should under no circumstances do harm or desire. We mean that in a technical sense, right? Desire as the groundwork, the foundational substrate, if you will, for the things that I value. So, do harm or desire to even do harm, right? You can't even have the desire to do harm. It's not just that you can't do harm, you can't even have the desire to do harm. Meaning that the conceptual, and this is why I love Fourier, right, and Bob Marley and stuff, it's like this idea that there's a mental imprisonment of the mind of the individual who isn't looking for power. If you are looking to make yourself weaker, such that, and we obviously, I don't mean physically weaker. If you're not following me at this point, I can't help you, right? But for the individual who is looking to make themselves weaker by embracing a system which negates this existence, I recognize immediately that it's not just the case that they're not going to physically present a threat. You're not intellectually going to present a threat, right? That means your mind has all types of systems of control that have been deliberately implanted by people like me onto your mind. Why? Because that's what we do, right? And we check how good and efficient and effective we are in this by playing a game with other egoists, right? Other egoists want to see, well, I'm not sure what it is that they want to see from those designers, right? Nietzsche calls it, it's a design, right? Other egoists want to see how good you are at designing. We need verification that the suggestions are being implemented. We get verification that the suggestions are being implemented. This actually works. Implement phase 2. Let's start working on people who don't want power. Well, if you don't want power, what are you going to get? You're going to get a system of control that puts you in your place in this world because all you care about is the other world, right? That's, I hate to sound sort of matter of fact about it, but that's where this is going. Now, granted, this is not as apparent in Nietzsche's text, right? This interpretation and this analysis comes from years of philosophical analysis and having read this book more times than I care to. And this will be the last time I read Will to Power. I've gone through this book a lot, right? 5a. Not only is it the act of evil immoral, right? It's not just the case that acting evil is immoral. Under this view, the thought, the intent to do harm, pride, revenge, will, all of that is evil, right? The pride that I have in my personal achievements, in my personal accomplishments, the pride that I have in the ability to make other people smarter, to make other people more empowered. The pride is the source also of power. Pride is a source of power. Thus, you can't even be prideful, right? That's what I'm saying. You have to devoid yourselves of conceptions of pride, such that when the newscaster puts the mic in front of your face, I did this early in the series, 10, 15 hours ago in the series. Hey, so Bob, you're such a great basketball player, you're such a great baseball player, you're such a great football player. Hey, what do you, tell me about your accomplishment. Oh, first of all, I just want to tell everybody I want to thank God because it's not about me, it's all about God. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, right? I'm not knocking that, right? I'm just saying, assume the role of Nietzsche. Nietzsche's like, yo, are you serious, dog? Are you serious? Wow, right? I can't even have pride in the fact that I've excelled to an elite level in what it is that I do, right? Like LeBron, Kobe, Mike Tyson, freaking Jordan, whoever. You pick your favorite athlete, hey, hey, I just want to thank God, I want to thank God. It's not about me, man, it's not me. Phelps, hey, you just broke the record, you swam so damn fast. Hey, it's not about me, thank God, thank God. Nietzsche's looking at that as a sign of weakness, right? So this weakness, remember, this weakness, it immediately tells me that you have a conceptual lack on your head that won't allow you to take onus, to take pride in your effort, in your work, as manifest in skill and proficiency, right? For the athlete, it manifests physically, you see it. For the, I wouldn't even go academic, right? For the individual, and there are very few, right? But for the individual who recognizes this system and sees that the will to power is an ability to construct and identify and dismantle, which no one's better at this actually than Nietzsche, and dismantle ideological systems of control. So whether you're breaking it apart or creating a new one or analyzing, constructing systems of control, at this level, it's the opposition is far more difficult to assess, right? As I said before, it becomes a game, right? It becomes this, and I might actually do some Wittgenstein, because I'm currently reading some stuff, revisiting Wittgenstein, but I might do a Wittgenstein series maybe the very tail end of this year, beginning of next year. But it becomes this game. Right? It becomes this game. It's are you really the designer of these systems? Egoist from another egoist, more powerful egoist. Are you really the designer of these systems? I actually am. Well, let me see it. I can't show you. But then you recognize that suggestions are being presented and that there's change and conformity with respect to those suggestions. And then you realize, no, if it's the case that suggestions could transform the literal conduct, the mode of being in the world for those who are, quote-unquote, the most powerful, then it has to be the case that these systems can be implemented on those who are less powerful, right? The idea of disassociating from yourself from power for Nietzsche is that's why would you want to do that? But so many people make that option, right? So many people make that option for themselves. Number 6, perhaps there has never been a more dangerous ideology than this will to good. Perhaps there has never been a more dangerous ideology. As I said before, this is ideological systems of belief which manifest in either the will to power and the will to construct, dismantle, control, or the will to give it all up. The will as motivated by desire and corresponding value to say, that's not something I want, and I recognize that you might control me in this life, but in the next life I'll have power. Well, that's fine with me. This system works perfectly then, right? Because the egoist wants control in this world and doesn't believe in the transcendent world. The individual devotee who believes in transcendence has foregone control of this world so that they can have personal immortality in the last. And we see then that egoists dominate this world, and if there is, from sort of an agnostic level, if there is a transcendent realm, which we are epistemologically incapable of